With the stroke of a pen, Governor Andrew Cuomo has changed the rules in New York State with a partial pardon of 35,000 convicted felons who are out on parole. He's restoring their right to vote through an executive order. Not everybody happy about it, and it's certainly causing a little bit of chaos in the political conversation as we head into that New York State gubernatorial primary. John Cuomo has the details. John?
Yeah, I mean, listen, everyone's going to be, it's New York, right? So you're going to have half the people happy, half the people unhappy.
Right.
I read Governor Cuomo issued 8 pardons in his first 5 years in office, and now he is poised to pardon some 35,000 more at the stroke of a pen. New York has joined 18 other states, this is already being done, that restore the voting rights of convicted felons once they're released from prison. Currently under state law, parolees and those on probation cannot vote until they're off supervision. Well, Cuomo's executive order doesn't change that law. It circumvents it by pardoning parolees. They can now vote in this election and beyond. Important to point out 2 things. This is a conditional pardon, so it will not wipe away the felon's record. And those former prisoners who are being flagged for having what's being called special concerns, they still may be denied. There will be a process to this. Supporters say this move will engage these parolees in the democratic process, reduce recidivism, reduce the odds of them returning to prison, and reverse disenfranchisement for thousands of New Yorkers.
Now, how can that be? You did your time, you paid your debt, you're released, but you still don't have a right to vote. At the same time, we're saying we want you part of society, we want you to get back into the community.
Now, Bill, the governor said he tried to do this through legislation, but the Republican-controlled state Senate didn't want any part of it. Republicans in Albany dispute that claim, and they had some critical words. State Republican Party Chair Ed Cox called this an outrageous power grab, and State Senate Majority Leader John Flanagan said he was, quote, dumbfounded by this move. As for Cuomo's rival in the Democratic primary, former Sex and the City star Cynthia Nixon, she agrees with the idea but was critical of the timing. She tweeted, "We don't buy the governor's new song and dance routine. Voter suppression in New York should have ended 8 years ago, from the rights of parolees to access to early voting and automatic registration." Bill, it certainly is an interesting move politically. Not sure how many of these 35,000 parolees will actually sign up for a political party and vote in September, but they now can, most of them probably. The Democratic primary, by the way, is September 13th.
All right, let's bring in the A-plus panel to break this down very quickly. Jeanette, Bill, let me start with you, Jeanette. The circumventing of the legislature, even the legislature's response seems to be ridiculous at saying, well, no, we didn't just dismiss it. The idea is even if they had, they are entitled to do that. They're elected.
Absolutely. When a governor circumvents the legislature by executive order, it's because he or she can't get it done. This is such a transparent political move, Bill. In the Democratic primary, I hate to say I agree with Cynthia Nixon, but I agree. The timing is suspect. He's just trying to get more liberal votes.
Bill, as a Democratic strategist, good or bad for Andrew Cuomo in context of re-election, in context of 2020?
Oh, I don't know that it's, I think you're on the right track on 2020. I don't think this has a focus on what they're doing now. There's a general trend going on in the country right now to make it easier to vote and have more people around. We have abysmal turnout, and I actually support that. I think it's a smart thing. I don't think this is about getting these 35,000 people to come out and vote for him in the primary or beyond. I think this is the national trend, particularly on my side of the aisle, on the Democratic side, to have more people involved in democracy. And now, what he did, and Jeanette, I would say this to you, I don't think it was about not being able to get it done in the legislature. This was, he wanted the credit for it. He didn't want to share the credit.
Getting it done before the primary.
Well,
he
wanted the credit.
Point, how often do we complain about the terrible quality of politicians these days? More people voting isn't necessarily a good thing. You need more informed people voting, and this doesn't address that at all.
I'll take more
on this. You should lose the right to vote if you commit a crime until you're off parole.
At the very least, we should expect that.
Exactly.
Right? All right, got to leave it there.